Welcome to all. Today we are going to see in detail the Virial theorem, which is an important theorem in quantum mechanics. As I said, it is very important theorem for a particle, uh, both in classical and in quantum physics. For general system which is having a mass m and position ri and the applied force fi, the consider the scalar product G is equal to the summation over I pi dot Ri, which defines the variable. Now if you take time derivative of G, we will get using UV method. First we differentiate pi, which denoted as pi dot into dot Ri plus summation over I. Now we are leaving pi as it is and differentiating R, which will become Ri dot. So finally we arrived at this expression. But we know very well the fact that the time derivative of P is equal to force, that is Fi, and the first term can be written as Fi dot Ri. Similarly, about the second term, we know the P is equal to mass into velocity, that is mvi, and this r I dot is nothing but our velocity. So vi into ri dot becomes vi square. So that I have written it here. Um, so this is clearly the equal to 2 times the kinetic energy, as kinetic energy is equal to half mv squared. So this can be 2 times the kinetic energy. So the time derivative of g can be written as summation over I fi dot ri plus 2 times the kinetic energy.
Now we will see the Virial theorem in classical mechanics. Just now we have seen that the time derivative of g is equal to summation over I f of I dot ri plus 2 times the kinetic energy. We have defined g as summation over I pi dot ri. In a reference frame where the system is globally at rest, then the time derivative of g will become 0. This is over a time period. Let us say that over a time period t. That is summation over I fi dot ri. This part represents average over a time period t plus 2 times the kinetic energy, average kinetic energy. So average over a time period t, which is equal to 0. That means 2 t part. This part represents the time average value, which is equal to minus summation over I f of I fi dot ri bar, which is equal to, we know very well the f is equal to minus delta v by over delta x. That is gradient of the potential vi dot ri. So this is also average over a time period. So 2 d bar is equal to the time average, that is delta v over delta x dot r. So for convenience, we are using this bracket. This is in classical mechanics. It is not an expectation value. This is an average value over a time period t, which is equal to of the average value of r delta v over delta x. This is average, not the expectation value like in quantum mechanics.
Now we will see the real theorem in quantum mechanics. The time derivative of expectation value of R dot P is equal to, according to Heisenberg equation of motion, uh, the time derivative of any function can be represented as 1 over I h cross the expectation value of that function, that is commutation relation with expectation value of the commutation of that function with h will gives you the time derivative of that particular function. According to Heisenberg equation of motion, we have seen in a separate lecture. I have already explained the three pictures in quantum mechanics about the Heisenberg picture. We have seen in detail about the time derivative of any expectation value of any function can be represented by 1 over I h cross the expectation value of commutation of that function with h, which is equal to 1 over I h cross. As usual, the I have used the usual commutation relation that I have taken out the left hand side operator r outside, so this will become r dot p commutation of p with h, the expectation value of course, plus 1 over I h cross the commutation of r with h dot p. Here p I have taken right hand side operator. P is a right hand side operator. I have taken it in the right hand side. So this can be written as 1 over I h cross. And also the Hamiltonian, we know it is p squared over 2m plus v. Here you take the first term, that is here it is the first term. Since p commute with p squared over 2m, we have taken only the non-commuting term. That is a non-commuting term in H is only v. So we have taken it is commutation of p with v. In similarly, the second term, the h is equal to p squared over 2m plus v, and r and v will commute. We know very well v is a function of r, so naturally that will commute with r. So we will take only the non-commuting term. Here the non-commuting term is only p squared over 2m. So we have taken p squared over 2m. So now we have simplified this. Now we can cope r one dimension. That is, I have replaced r with x. So time derivative of x dot p is equal to 1 over I h cross. This r I have taken as x, and the commutation of p with v. And also I have taken this 2m is a constant. I have taken this out. So this will become 1 over I h cross 2m, and the expectation value of x commutation of x with p square dot p. We know very well, we have already proved that this is equal to p comma v that is commutation of p comma v is nothing but the time this is we have already proved this is equal to I h cross, that is p commutation with v is equal to I h cross delta v over delta x. Similarly, we have done this when we are dealing with commutation relations. I have given one separate lecture about commutation relation, in which I have proved these two. That is p with v gives you I h cross delta v over delta x. Similarly, x commute with p squared will gives you 2 I h cross p. So here first you take the first term, this I h cross and this numerator I h cross will cancel out. You have x here. The commutation relation remaining term is x dot delta v over delta x. Similarly here 2 IH cross and this IH cross 2 will cancel out. Remaining term is 1 over 2. And here commutation relation you have one P, and outside the commutation relation you have another P. This will become P squared, expectation value of P squared.
We have arrived at the expression that the time derivative of expectation value of x dot t is equal to minus the expectation value of x dot delta v over delta x plus 1 over m and the expectation value of p square. Here, if again you convert this into three-dimensional view, that is x is replaced by r, all the three directions, and delta v by delta x is replaced by the gradient. So this will become minus left hand side will become time derivative of expectation value of r dot t, and the right hand side become minus r dot gradient instead of delta v by delta x. We are representing that with the gradient symbol plus the second term retained should is 1 over m the expectation value of p square. So ultimately this will be equal to minus r dot gradient. We have seen already that 1 over m p square is equal to 2 times the kinetic energy. This 1 over m over p square is equal to 2 times the kinetic energy. And it may be noted that for a periodic system, the left hand side of this equation, that is time derivative of expectation value of r dot p will become 0. So naturally, the minus r dot gradient plus 2 times the kinetic energy is equal to 0, or the expectation value of the kinetic energy is equal to 1 over 2 the expectation value of r dot del. So this is in quantum mechanics, which is exactly analogous to the classical mechanics. Only difference is there we represent the average over a time period, kinetic energy average over time period, and here r dot del also over a time period, average over a time period. Here it is the expectation value. That is only difference. In classical physics, it is average value over the time. Here it is the expectation value. Otherwise, both are analogous. Now we will compare our result with result of quantum physics and classical physics, quantum versus classical mechanics. In quantum mechanics, we have already seen, I have given in my lecture about in Ehrenberg's theorem that the time derivative of expectation value of x is equal to 1 over m, the expectation value of momentum, which is analogous with the classical physics. Time derivative of r is equal to p by m. Here only thing difference is here it is expectation value, because in due to uncertainty principle we always talk about the expectation value in quantum mechanics. Similarly, we have seen another Ehrenberg theorem that the time derivative of the expectation value of p is equal to minus the time derivative of the not time derivative is equal to minus delta v by delta h, partial derivative of the potential v, which is analogous to the classical mechanics. Time derivative of momentum is equal to minus gradient. So only difference here also is here it is expectation value. In similar manner, we have just now seen according to Verriel theorem, the kinetic energy, that is expectation value of kinetic energy is equal to 1 over 2 the expectation value of r dot gradient, which is analogous to the in classical physics the time average. Here this bracket is bracket not represents the expectation value, it is time average. So for convenient, we are using this bracket used to use it for the time. So we have to be careful, which is equal to 1/2 the 1/2 the time average value of R delta V over delta H. So the correspondence, this is called correspondence principle. The correspondence principle states that any model describing the behavior of quantum system must yield the same result as classical physics in the macroscopic limit. So that is the important comparison using the Ehrenberg theorem and the Beriel theorem. Thank you very much for watching my videos and continuously supporting me.